What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Rad Chad Show. Today we have got a review for you of Unlock Escape Adventures. In this review in specific, we will look at the formula, but you can also check out a separate video for our thoughts on Squeak and Sausage. We will do this review into two parts, the first of which is a tutorial, which will teach you how to play the game. There are two ways that you can do that, the first of which is simply to read the rule book that is included within the game, but it also gives you a very small deck of cards, and there is a tutorial section in the app. We're going to look at that one in specific. But that being said, if you don't even want that section spoiled, even though I do think it's important because it'll help illustrate certain mechanics, if you don't want that section spoiled, then feel free to skip directly to the review section. We will keep this as spoiler-free as humanly possible. That being said, some people might consider just talking about the game in general a spoiler. I think, again, this will be as spoiler-free can get. But for now, let's take a look at how to play Unlock. Okay, so let's take a look at how you actually play Unlock and the tutorial mission. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to have a starting card, and in the interest of time, I've already set some things up, but you're going to want to read the front of the starting card, and it will instruct you to open the app, press play, and as soon as you flip over this card, there will not be any of these other cards out there. You're going to hit start. In this case, we have 10 minutes to escape this room. For most of the games, you have a full hour to complete the entire mission. When you go into a new room, there will be items within that room. For example, we have a desk, we have a circuit board, we have the exit room, and all of these are denoted by a specific number. So when you first open up a room, you're going to go through the deck of cards, and you're going to find the numbers that are depicted within that room, and you're going to place them out face up. Then after you've done that, you can start interacting with the cards and figuring out puzzles. In a lot of cases, what you're going to do is you're going to take a red puzzle piece and you're going to mix it with a blue puzzle piece. They go together, and that's how you solve a lot of puzzles. So here I might take the blue key and I might use it to unlock this red dresser. When you do that, you're going to add up the value of the two cards. So here we've got 11 plus 35 equals 46. If you're correct, you can search through the deck and you can find the number 46 and reveal it. When you do that, it will oftentimes tell you to get rid of the two cards that you had used to get this card because they've already been used and they're no longer needed. So here we can see that we have opened up the cabinet, and if we dig and look closely in at the cabinet, we can see a hidden number 16. Just like the office, that's a regular number that we can go ahead and reveal. So here we're going to take 16 out of the deck of cards, we're going to reveal it, and we have found a red cable or cord with some hooks on it. So I think we're good with this for now. We might want to figure out how we want to use this cable. Well, as I mentioned earlier, red and blue go together, but I don't necessarily think this cable is going to do anything to a TV that doesn't currently have power to it. So maybe we want to come over here to this machine. It's sort of like an electrical circuit board. And it looks like we can connect the different little circles on this circuit board to hopefully bring power back to us. So I'm going to come over here to the machine on the app, and I'm going to denote that I'm using machine number 67 and enter that into the app and press OK. It's now going to tell me, all right, how do you want to connect this cord inside this machine? So what I'm going to say is I want to connect it straight down the middle, and the reason for that is I've got a dresser over here that's got 9 dots, just like the 9 dots on this circuit, and there's a line down the middle 3. So I'm going to replicate that line over here in the app using, again, this cord, and I'm going to click OK. And what that shows is that we've successfully used the machine, and it has more or less turned this machine into a 9 red puzzle piece. If we take that 9 red puzzle piece, and like always, we mix it with a blue puzzle piece, we take 9 and 16, and that makes 25. So we go searching through the deck, we see if we have card number 25, which we do, and we can now put that card out, and we're now done with these 3 cards. So what this simply says is that we have restored power to our area, and it's given us a blue 6 puzzle piece, and since we now have power, maybe we want to go test that power with the TV. So we take the blue 6 and the red 42, and that gives us 48, which is the last card in the deck. And so now we can see that the TV is turned on, and it has given us a code of 7239, which we can use to escape. So we come back over here to the app, we click the code option, and I'm going to type in 7239 and click OK. And unfortunately, we lost time, so that obviously wasn't the right code. We haven't escaped. So now we got to figure out what we did wrong. 7239 has got 4 different colors on it, and if I look closely, this exit sign on the door has got the same colors. E, the first letter, is red, X, the second letter, is yellow, I, the third letter, is blue, and T, the fourth letter, is green. And those correspond exactly to the colors that are on these numbers. So maybe I need to rearrange these numbers so that they add up and match the letters on the door. So I come over here, and E, red, is first, so I might put in the red 9. Then I would X, yellow, so I put in the 3. Then the I is blue, so I put in the 7. And the green T is 2. So now I've got 9372, and let's hope that that's the final code. We click OK. It shows that we were correct, so we have won. And it then sends us to a final screen, which showed us that it took us 4.5 minutes to complete the objective. We didn't need any hints or tips. We didn't have any penalties other than the one. We didn't mess up any machines or anything like that. So ultimately we get a score of 5 stars, and that's how you play Unlock. Unlock is a great game. We really enjoyed our time with the formula. The game can play anywhere between 2 to 6 players. We played with 4, which I think would be the sweet spot for the formula. All 4 of us at the table really had an absolute blast with this game. Some of us had already played escape room games in real life, and others had never played an escape room game before. That being said, I was one of the 2, along with my wife, who had played a real-world escape room game before. And it was interesting because my feelings in the games that I've played in real life were that I always felt, I don't know, left empty, in the sense that I either felt like maybe the escape room was too difficult or it didn't encourage teamwork enough. And maybe those were just the ones that I played. Maybe other ones elsewhere in the country are better. But I always felt disappointed walking away from those games. Now in comes Unlock, and so I had low expectations is probably the best way of putting it, but again, it's a $12 game, and so the price to enter into this game is significantly less expensive than what you're going to pay in the real world. A ticket for an escape room game in real life is somewhere between $20-$30 per person, so it can really become very expensive if you're going to go with a big group. And in this case, we paid $12 for 4 people to play a 1-hour long game. So I really felt like it's an inexpensive option if you want to get this sort of experience. Not to mention, we had the exact same opposite experience, which was that we really felt that there were a lot of clever puzzles. We walked away feeling like geniuses. There were a lot of moments in the game where, you can have a word on the tip of your tongue, but you can't quite figure out what that word is. And as soon as that light bulb goes off, boom, you have that epiphany, and it's just this great rewarding feeling of you figured it out yourself. A lot of times in this game, you've got all the pieces of the puzzle sitting out in front of you on the table, and it's just right there at the tip of your mind. You can almost piece together the puzzle, and then boom, it happens, it unlocks, pun intended, and you really feel a sense of accomplishment. And what I thought the game did very well was that all 4 of us at the table felt integral to our success within the game. We really did have to collaborate. Certain people were better at one specific type of puzzle, and another group of people were better at a different type of puzzle. And so we all came together and coalesced to ultimately achieve success in the game, and we got the highest 5-star rating that the game had to offer. But just the overall experience and the puzzles that the game had to offer was really phenomenal, and all 4 of us walked away loving our experience with Unlock the Formula. There are a few other pros that I want to talk about before we get into some of the cons, which are more or less just nitpicks. I thought that the game had a great app integration. So while it's a very streamlined and simple app, it fits perfectly. The rules are easy to learn, and the app is easy to use, which is great because you're going to be introducing this to probably some people who have maybe never experienced board games before. And so in that sense, because of how easy this game is to get into, because of the app and because of the rules, I think that this is a great gateway game. That app has a little bit of a thematic flair to it, that it can have sound effects in the background. If you want a beginner-friendly game, for example, it can register, hey, they haven't entered in a code yet. They should have by now, because it has a timer that ticks down. It will give you tips automatically if you ask the app to do that. And so it really did a great job of either holding your hand if you want it to, because you can also opt to, get your own hints, but it also gives you tips on occasions. Or if you want to go in and not have any app assistance, you can do that, and you can basically run the game more or less without the app, because the app at a certain point only becomes a timer with an area to enter in codes. And so I just thought it gave you some good freedom to play the way that you want to play. So kudos on that. And just in general, I just want to reiterate, we really had a blast with this game. And again, for $12, I think it's well worth your while. But I do want to talk about a few cons. The first of which is the game had a little bit of a baptism by fire element to it. I thought that the first puzzle stumped us, and that was a blessing and a curse. The curse was just that I felt like we wasted a decent bit of time, and almost right out the gates felt like, oh crap, we're in for one heck of a ride. We're not going to get through this game. But once we did figure out that puzzle, it really set the stage, and this was the blessing for what to expect from future puzzles. And after that, I don't want to consider it smooth sailing, but we definitely figured out what we needed to do to achieve success. And so that first puzzle really helped set the stage for what to expect moving forward. The cards, a lot of times I felt were not quite big enough. They're bigger than a standard deck of cards, but they're not quite like that oversized Dixit size of cards. It would be nice to have those oversized cards, because when you have so many cards out on the table and they're as small as they are, a lot of times a person would pick up a card and then they would look at it very closely, and that removes the card from everybody else being able to see it. And so it'd be nice if the cards were larger, that you'd be able to see what the items were better, and then you wouldn't have to necessarily pick up a card to see what was on it. Now, it's important to pick up cards to see what was on it, because sometimes there are numbers on cards that are hidden, which sort of simulates what it's like to look around the room real in depth and open up drawers or look underneath tables and things like that. And this game simulates that by making some numbers very hard to find on cards. And I felt on one occasion in specific, I was looking at a card almost point blank in my face, and I couldn't find the number to save my life. A little bit later, another person at the table had picked up that card, and they were able to see what I wasn't. So maybe that was just me personally. I don't have bad eyes necessarily. I just felt like it was maybe a click too hard to find that specific number. And I thought that that would have been an easy area for a group to trip up on, because if you didn't find that card, then it would have stalled your progress. So I think that could have used work, and it could have been solved in a couple of different ways. And then the final thing is that the theme of this was relatively dry. Now, that's not the end of the world, but it just didn't evoke a great theme or a great story. I didn't feel immersed into what I was doing, other than that I was solving puzzles and I wanted to escape, which is naturally fairly thematic. But outside of that, it was just fairly bare bones. Given all of that, these are all what I would consider nitpicks. The overall experience from each of us was very, very positive. And at the end of the day, if I had to give this game a review, I would give it an 8.5 out of 10. And the beautiful thing is that I can, put together the deck. They're numbered 1 through 60, so you can reorganize the deck the way it was when it first came out of the box. I can sell the game, I can put it up for trade, I can give it away to family and friends and let them have the same experience that I did. And so overall, it's a great way for somebody to get the escape room experience for a very small price and not have to worry about not being able to ever experience it or allowing somebody else to ever experience it again. So really unlock the formula. Got to give them hats off. It's a great game, and so definitely check it out. That's my review of Unlock the Formula.
Thank you for watching The Rad Chad Show. Till next time.